2023, it's a new year, and today's video is going to be sick because we're talking about all the mods I've done to my CRF110F. Let's get into it. This is my Honda CRF110F. They started production of these in 2019 all the way to current, so 2023. Mine is a 2021 with 73 hours on it. What makes this model really unique is it's a fuel injected 110cc, unlike all the competitors that have carburetors. I race track with this bike, I race enduro with it, and it's been a fantastic platform for me to learn how to wheelie. From the factory, these are built for kids, so these are all the modifications I run for my weight, height, and riding style. So today I'm going in depth with my ergonomics, my suspension, my protection, tires, and what I've done to the motor. So first thing I want to talk about is ergonomics, how comfortable you are on the bike. First thing I did, I put a set of tall bars on, also a tall seat, and I changed the foot pegs. So when it comes to the bars, I had to replace the front brake cable. The throttle cables from the factory are a little bit short, but I managed to turn the throttle around and that worked just fine. When it comes to foot pegs, I've gone ahead and put some steel, wider pegs, just a little bit more comfortable. I know guys go pretty crazy with foot pegs, but these steel ones work like a charm. You get them on Chinese pit bikes, just like Project Pit Bike behind me over there. I'll get to that later in the video. I've also gone ahead and changed my seat foam. I've gone for a tall seat. This gives me the ability to slide up and down the seat really easily, as well as having the height between the foot pegs and where you're seated so that your legs aren't as bent. You're a little bit more comfortable on the bike. The current way my ergos are is the most comfortable I've had it so far, and it almost feels like you're riding a big bike. Moving over to suspension, up front, I've changed the fork springs out as well as the dampening rods, and I've gone to 15 weight oil. That helped a ton, especially when you're landing some harder jumps. I also changed the top triple clamp. This was so that I could run handlebar risers to make my bars even taller. Then as far as the rear shock goes, I was running a D&M 350 pound, but I found it to be a little bit too hard for my weight, so I've actually gone back to the stock shock and it feels fantastic. As far as the protective components go, you know that I make all of that in-house. I do the shift shaft braces, the sprocket covers, and the skid plates, and I've been able to put them really to a good test, going over logs, casing jumps, all that sort of stuff, and they've been holding up like a treat. As far as the shift shaft brace goes, my bike's been shifting flawlessly since day one, so that's done its job, and believe me, I've definitely fallen on that side. As far as the sprocket cover goes, I've gone for an open design, reason being when we're doing enduro races and there's long grass and I start to bundle up around the main drive shaft, you don't want that oil seal to get nicked. Gives me the ability to stop at a pit, pull everything out that I can, and carry on racing. Moving over to the tires, I'm running a set of Dunlop MX-33s front and back. I found the stock tires to be really good if it's dry packed, but we have quite a lot of rain here and the tracks get muddy. So I've gone for these. They tend to flick out all the excess mud and they really run well. These tires over here have about 60 hours worth of riding on them and they're still actually looking pretty fresh. So I'll probably do another year's worth of racing on these tires as they sit. Final thing I want to talk about, and I know you guys are going to be asking, what engine mods have I done? And to be honest, I'm leaving this engine absolutely bone stock. Honda from the factory have made a really good, reliable engine here. Yes, I know you can make more power out of them, but being fuel injected gets expensive really quickly when you want to modify. So I thought to myself, rather than get involved with engine mods, I'm going to leave it absolutely stock. It's damn reliable, it starts first time, every time, and the perk of not being modified means I've left my stock exhaust on, which makes it super quiet. So if you want to play around where you're not meant to be playing around with bikes, you can probably get away with it with this exhaust. The only thing I have changed, just to help a little bit with my weight, is I've gone one tooth down on my front sprocket, especially for a little track. That's really nice. You got that acceleration, you end up being in third most of the time. So those are the main upgrades I've done to my CRF110F. I have also put the light bar on for some night racing, but that's more of an extra. It's not a need to have. With my bike as it is at this point, I'm really happy with it. I've got to be honest with you, I don't see myself changing much in the future. But there is one bike that I want to modify like crazy, and that's behind me. That's the Project Pit Bike. So I wanted an extra bike I could bring with to the track so that if I got a mate that wants to ride, he can ride on that. Otherwise, I could always have a little bit of extra fun in it. So that's a Chinese 125 engine with a Mikuni carb, aluminium frame. I've been fiddling with the suspension, fiddling with the ergos on that, and we do need to rebuild that bike at some point. So for now, I've just been tinkering with it, making sure that all the components work together. And then in the future, I'm going to fully disassemble it and reassemble it looking mint. Now, I know you guys really like the top speed of things. So if you want to see the top speed, my KDX 125 SR, that's over here. And if you want to see the top speed of this little guy, it's over here. Peace, guys.